I think it's time for everybody's favorite part, Armchair Detective! Hey, yeah! Let's fucking go! Let's freaking go! Yeah! This is still playing. Today's episode, the Windows XP Famicom port, which I am almost certain does not exist. But we'll give it a try. The idea was that somewhere, someplace out there, at some point, somebody tried to put Windows XP on, I believe, the original Famicom. And you can see, so there's the Lost Media Wiki entry for this. Oh, God, I thought that was porn. The pride side. Jesus, Lost Media Wiki, what the fuck is your problem? Let's start with the Bootleg Games Wiki. There's probably a lot of overlap between these two articles. There is Super Great Famicom Cartridge Game ROM, Windows XP. Does have the Windows XP logo. Microsoft Windows XP Professional, copyright by the Microsoft Corporation. Windows, please click your username. Enter your password. Interesting, this definitely looks not like Windows. How does this work? Somebody made a game that looks like Windows XP, and they made it in like the Famicom system? Is that how this actually works? Let's learn a little bit more about the one that's supposed to be real, the Windows 98 one. So interestingly, this one is confirmed to be made by Chinese developer Pei Tongfang. Most likely released sometime in the early 2000s, like 2002. So it's just assumed that if this guy made the 98 version, then he must have also made the Windows XP version. And this one's real, apparently. This one is confirmed to be real. So let's see the general information on this actually. Let me just see what this is. The conversion is somewhat accurate on a superficial level and seems to exist to demonstrate what features the real Windows 98 has, as oddly none of the programs actually function properly. Even basic features such as the calculator and the volume slider do not function, and unlike most bootleg OSs developed for the Famicom, none of the family basic programs are included. So there are actually multiple bootleg OSs developed for the Famicom for some reason. So I mean, I guess then, if there's a lot of these things that exist, if people know that these things exist, that the Windows 98 one exists, and we have screenshots of a Windows XP one, then it's presumed that the Windows XP one would exist. So it might be that it exists. Could be. We don't know. It could be that it exists. You gotta give it to him. He has a sick ass logo. That's pretty good, actually. That's a great logo. It's taking him to a website, but I would guess this is just a still image. If I had to guess, yeah, it doesn't seem like anything's clickable or anything. It seems like he's trying to click stuff and nothing's working. So it must be then just, it's not actually Windows 98 in any capacity. It's just a series of screens that have been made to give it the appearance of Windows 98, kind of like those fake parody Windows and Newgrounds Flash games. One of the pictures in the shared folders refers to the game Pick-a-Click and Peek-a-Dance on the Pokemon Foreign one, which I assume is another bootleg. Yeah. Is it made by him? No, it's made by a different person. Damn. Interesting. He was a big fan. So that brings us to, so that is the known Windows 98, but of course that brings us back to the fake Windows XP. In the third image, the game is using the classic start menu, reminiscent of those from Windows 98 and 2000, rather than the two-column start menu introduced in XP. Oh, like the two-panel, but then it actually looks like, I understand. So it's the start menu is actually just probably ported from the Windows 98 version, right? If I had to guess. Okay, so it might be real then, and we just don't have a copy of it that we can dump into a ROM like we did with the 98 one. Okay, what about the Lost Media Wiki? Does this have any additional information? So here's some people playing the other versions. So it seems like, so we know a lot of information on this one, and there actually was a 2001. I wonder if this was made by the same person. Oh, this looks way different. Oh, all three of these look, well, this one doesn't look super different. So if we compare these back to back, and I'm sorry for the Spotify audience, I already forgot about you guys anyway, so who cares? If we compare these two, it definitely seems like, well, it seems like more work was probably put into this one than this one. But this one does look different. The BIOS pages look very similar. And you have to understand, this is a fake BIOS page, right? So if it's, so like ASUS, the fact that it has all the same information about what this so-called system would have, like an ASUS motherboard, Intel, it does the same memory test, all that sort of stuff. All that exact same information, then it might be made by the same person. Who knows? The analysis of the menu screenshot suggests that one could interact via playing a game and being able to access Outlook Express and Windows Explorer. Oh, because there's a game on there. Well, there's also study, there's accessories, there's tools. Those buttons could all do something. We don't know. But yes, there is also Outlook and Express and Windows Internet Explorer. And most importantly, I do see on there Winamp. Which, by the way, did you know on patreon.com/Astookery, did you know that you could watch a video where I go over the Winamp Skin Museum and cover the coolest skins that were created for Winamp back during the early 2000s and late 90s. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. But that is also something that you could do. Nothing is officially known regarding its development, including the identities of the creators behind it. However, some sources like GameSniped have suggested that it might have been created by the same people that developed the 98 Famicom game. Oh, so the 2000 and the 98 one are confirmed to be made by different people. Windows 2000 is a Famiclone port of the Windows 2000 operating system created sometime after 2000. The bootleg has a sequel titled Windows 98, but it is unrelated to the known Windows 98 bootleg. So there's a second... This is getting confusing. Now we're down the rabbit hole here. There's a second Lost Media Windows OS bootleg that's called Windows 98, but it's unrelated to the Windows 98 that we know exists, but is made by the same person who made the Windows XP, the sequel to the Windows 98 one called Windows XP, which is Lost Media. Another version is called the BraveSoft Windows 2000, which received an English translation in November 2022. That's not that long ago. So that's interesting, because this Windows 2000 one has the least amount of information on it, but I guess people aren't hunting for this one because it exists. There seems to be two different developers here from what I'm understanding. There's this Bai Tongfang person who made Windows 98 and then made a sequel to his Windows 98 Famiclone, as apparently they call it, called Windows XP, and that one is lost. We don't know where that one is. There is a second individual who is unrelated to this, who made a Famicom clone for Windows 2000, which is known, that people have access to, but then that person made a sequel to Windows 2000 called Windows 98, which is unrelated to the other Windows 98 one, at least as far as we know. I wonder... I mean, do we know that they're different? Could it be the same? Could it be that this is all made by the same person? The order just went, he started with 2000, then went to 98, then went to XP, and only the XP one is lost? It could be, I guess. There's so little information on this Windows 2000 one. I feel like it could really be anything, really. In October 2013, it was reported that a copy was sold on eBay for $89 after 11 bids were made, with its location originally being in Bangkok, Thailand. The sale of this copy gives hope that the game might publicly resurface. As of present day, only a few screenshots confirm this existence. So I have a few questions about this. First of all, do we know that what was sold on eBay was real? Because it seems like there was a buyer. So somebody sold. Did we know that this existed before 2013? That was another thing. So before October 2013, was it already known for a fact that this Windows XP copy was floating around, or did we learn about it from this eBay entry? That's my first question. So from there, we get this person in Bangkok, Thailand, who claims to own a copy of the Famicom Windows XP. It's purchased on eBay for $89 by, I presume, an American, just because it's $89 US dollars. I assume an American probably bought it. I don't know. Maybe it was just converted to make it easier. But we'll assume that it's American bought it. Probably some sort of collector of bootleg games. But if nobody knows who has it, then that means he's not related to the Lost Media Wiki. He's not related to the Bootleg Games Wiki, who both claim that this is still lost and not in transit anywhere. But of course, that's also assuming that this is real, that this guy actually got a copy of this that wasn't fake. Secondly, these screenshots, are they from the eBay listing? Because that earns more credence to the fact that the eBay listing was the only thing we ever knew about this. Which, I mean, I guess in terms of the screenshots being faked, doesn't seem like they're fake. I don't know. Or is it from... Well, it wouldn't be from the person who... These screenshots could not be from the person who bought it. Because otherwise, this article would state that after it was bought, we got these screenshots. But it seems to assume that the screenshots existed before... These screenshots existed before the guy bought it. So... But we don't know. We have no fucking idea. We have no idea where this is. If this even exists to any capacity. We don't know about the Bai Tong Fang person. We don't know about the other person who apparently made Windows 2000, who's different from Bai Tong Fang, who made the 2001 and apparently made a different, separate Windows 98 one that was not related to the one that we know about. It's interesting stuff. In terms of my armchair detective theory, I'm gonna go ahead and lean on the side that this probably is real and this probably is lost media. Can I do the cheer again? Wait, I almost pressed the wrong button. I almost pressed the villager coming sound effect. And I think it's real. That's right, everybody. I think it's real. But anyway, that's gonna be it for Armchair Detective. A nice little mystery there. I feel like that's our first real episode of Armchair Detective where we actually saw a real mystery and tried to solve it for real. Because our first 4 episodes were all video reactions. And then the last episode was mostly just me freaking out about space, but didn't really have anything to do with any sort of, mystery. I think we spent 5 seconds on the mystery and the rest of the time just learning more about Saturn, which is now my arch nemesis, as we've learned. But to my armchair detectives out there, keep on detective-ing, I guess. Okay, we'll move on.